And I really
Yeah.
think resilience is underrated, and something that I think we were all given an opportunity to develop through the pandemic was resilience, right? Because really, most of
Yeah.
our arguments are about how we responded to it. That's relational, right? And relationships with resilience are how intimacy is built. And so I think
Yeah.
that's something else that if we can kill this kind of like, okay, Gen Z, okay, boomer stuff, I think
Yeah.
you're going to see. I'm a firm believer that multi-generational organizations are better because
Sure.
every generation brings its own strengths to it. And I think when you see that happen, it's amazing.
Yeah. Isn't Joe great, you guys? You say yeah and you nod your head, but then you're catching up to the great things that he just had to say. Some of you may need to get a notepad or go back and watch this again. Okay, so on the other hand, if that was like the good news, what do you see like when you hire a younger professional and it's their first time stepping into whether it's their internships or practicum or they're practicing for the first time? What are like the detriments or the challenges that you see unique to the young professionals coming up into mental health care?
Okay, so this is going to feel a little ADHD because I'm a therapist and I probably do have ADHD,
No
but it's going to
worries.
come back, I promise.
Okay.
I want to go back 5 or 6 years to my own daughter being of the license age, right? 16. I don't know what you were like, Mark, but man, as soon as I was legally allowed to get my license and I had my parents' permission, it was done. I was going to go get my license.
Oh yeah.
And my daughter was like, no, I'm good. I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I'm good. And I started to realize most of her friends were, no, I'm good. And part of that was there's two reasons for that. It would seem that the literature suggests. One is getting their driver's license is the first time that they could fail. Probably touch on that a little bit later. And the other
Yeah.
time, the other thing was it's the first time that there's something that they're doing that their parents or caregivers don't control the outcome. Right. And so they're really the
Wow.
first
Yeah.
generation where certainly parents were very involved, and I'm not trying to disparage any parents' generation coming before, but like, I mean, down to everything. And so what happens is they get older and they start to get more responsibility. Well, this is something that somebody's not walking along with me. And I see that when we hire people, when we get
Yeah.
interns, they want to know like they ask questions that sometimes I think if you had just paused and thought through the question you were asking, you knew that answer. But you're looking for someone in authority to tell you that answer. At the same time,
Sure.
they bristle at the idea of doing something just because authority told them to do it. And so there's this conundrum that they live out of that I think causes
Yeah.
distress for them. And I work in private practice, which is kind of the holy grail of mental health. And there's not a lot of
Yeah.
like, okay, we do this way every time. I think another thing that's going on more in the educational setting, but it's having an impact on our hires, is we are taking cognitive distortions, and rather than saying, oh, these are not ways we want to think, educationally, it feels to me as though we're encouraging that. Right. And so a cognitive distortion would be all or nothing thinking. So if a little bit's good,
Okay. I was
all
just
of it's
about to
great.
ask. Okay.
Yeah. So there's 12 of them. One of them would be all or nothing thinking. So let's say you and I agree on everything and we get on this and I see you have an Iowa t-shirt on. Right. And
Not
I'm like,
today, but a lot of times.
right. And I'm like, well, I'm going to pick something ridiculous, but he and I can no longer be friends because he
Yeah.
supports Iowa. And you
A
see this a
B-rated
lot.
football team.
Yes. Yeah, we are. Right. So, when you see that in the football, we kind of laugh, but it happens over politics, religious denominations, ideology.
Yeah.
We've not done a very good job of helping maybe the whole world, but certainly Gen Z distinguish between someone disagreeing with me and someone attacking me. And those are different.
Do you know, it's interesting that you share that. I just got back from a hiking trip with my best friend since like 8th grade. Okay. He's an immigration attorney, and he got a call in the middle of backpacking when he was supposed to be on vacation from his paralegal. And, you know, it was a 15, 20-minute call,
Yep.
but he hopped off and he said pretty much exactly what you just said, that, you know what, she's trained, smart, and totally capable of figuring out the information she just called to ask me. She's just afraid of getting it wrong in front of me and what that will feel like.
Right. And we've
Go
taken
ahead.
collaboration to mean the disbursement of responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
collaboration is like if she makes that decision, then she's responsible for it.
Right.
And if it goes bad, she might look bad in front of him, and who knows how that's going to feel and go. You know, I love baseball. The best hitter in baseball ever, and it pains me to say that because he's a Red Sox, but he hit 400, which means he failed 60% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to bring that back. Somehow we have to bring back this idea that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. I think
Yeah.
part of it is, how often have you, I don't know if your kids have played like community sports or something, but you know, they lose, they get crushed. And there's mom
Yeah.
and there's dad, you know, kneeling down next to the kid. Honey, it's
Yeah.
okay. As long as you gave your best, that's all that matters. That's a true-ish statement. It's not a
Right.
blatantly true statement, right? Like, actually, it might
Yeah.
not be all that matters. And that's where it gets really difficult. Again, because if we go back to those all or nothing thinking distortions, well, my whole
Sure.
life, people have told me that as long as I tried my best. I actually had a client, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, who came to see me and I was like, I don't understand why you're here. Your life seems like it's all together. Well, my boss hates me. Well, why does your boss hate you? Well, my review. Hands me the review. There's like 26 points. 24 of them were 5 out of 5. 2 of them
Wow.
were 3 out
Yeah.
of 5. And in the little paragraph, like narrative summary, the boss wrote, you would do well to work on this to improve. Had no idea how to handle that.
Yeah.
And that's something that has to change.
Let's segue to that, because
Okay.
that was like the warm-up question, and the main one I wanted to ask you was a really essential distinction that you made just a while back between failure and failing.